Welcome to another deep dive. We're going to be exploring a Reddit post you guys sent in from our Best of Redditor updates.
Ooh,
It's one of those multi-part sagas, so you get those updates over time. Super juicy.
I love those.
And this one is tagged concluded, so buckle up. Family drama, betrayal, and some seriously questionable choices ahead.
Sounds like a wild ride.
Oh, it is. For everyone listening, our Best of Redditor updates is all about the best Reddit stories with, like I said, those updates over time. To really capture the raw emotion, I'm going to be reading the original post as if I'm, the one living it.
Ooh, I like that.
Deep breaths, everyone. The title, New Updates. My little brother, 3M, is actually my fiance's 25M kid.
Okay, hold on. Already I'm hooked.
Right. Just the title alone, this is going to be good. Okay, here we go. I'm 24 years old and my fiancé is 25. We've been together for 4 years and honestly, it's been the most amazing time. We used to joke about marriage and the future all the time, and he always treated me with so much love and respect. So this whole situation has left me completely shattered.
Oh, man. That's rough. Starting off with a happy relationship, you just know something's coming.
Right. You can feel it.
Okay.
Okay, so she goes on. Let me tell you about my little brother. He's just 3 years old and the absolute light of my life. My dad passed away when I was little, so my mom had to raise us both on her own. My mom remarried a few years ago, but let's just say my stepfather and I don't exactly see eye to eye. He's never really been around much for me or my brother.
So there's some family drama already.
Oh, yeah. Complicated. But here's the thing. Through it all, my fiancé has always been incredibly close to my brother. He'd spend hours playing with them, taking him out for ice cream, just being the most amazing uncle figure you could ask for.
Uh-oh. I feel like I see where this is going.
Oh, you do? Okay.
It's like too perfect, right?
Yeah, maybe. The other day, my fiancé and I were hanging out at home after a barbecue with some of his friends. I was chilling on the couch watching TV, and he was playing video games in the other room. At some point, I got bored and decided to look through some photos on his iPad. He had left it unlocked on the coffee table, which he never usually does. I guess my boredom got the better of me.
Oh, no. Classic mistake.
Curiosity, right? So I pick up his iPad, start scrolling through his photos, and then I see it. An entire album dedicated to photos of my brother. But there were some photos I've never seen before. Pictures of him as a newborn being held by my mom in the hospital. Even a photo of my mom holding a positive pregnancy test.
Oh, my God. I mean, what?
Right. There's a comment here that says, this is the moment your entire world tilts on its axis.
For real. Imagine seeing that. I'd be floored.
Okay, but it gets worse. Ready?
Oh, no. Hit me back.
My heart literally dropped into my stomach. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I kept scrolling and found screenshots of text messages between my fiancé and my mom. They were talking about how much they loved each other, how they couldn't wait to be a family. There were even messages from months ago, when my mom was still pregnant, talking about how excited they were for the baby to arrive.
It's more than just like cheating. It's like this whole other life.
Layers upon layers, right. And to think all this from just looking at photos, at that point I was numb. I couldn't even process what I was seeing. I just sat there staring at those messages until my fiancé walked back into the room.
Oh, man. I wouldn't want to be him right then.
So that's where this part of the story ends.
She doesn't say what happens next.
Not yet. We'll have to wait for the next update.
The suspense. So what stands out to you the most so far?
I think it's the pacing, Like we get this picture of a perfect relationship, then hints of family issues, and then bam, it all comes crashing down. It's like a train wreck in slow motion. You just can't look away.
It's wild. And to think this is real. Someone actually went through this. It makes you really think about like trust and betrayal and all that.
Definitely. And we'll see how she deals with it all in the next part of the story. Stay tuned.
All right. So last time we left off with her Reddit poster about to confront her fiance, right? After those messages on the iPad.
Oh, yeah. The tension was unreal. Like, how do you even start that conversation?
Exactly. I'm dying to know what happens next.
Well, she dives right in. It was like my world had imploded. Everything I thought I knew was a lie. My fiancé, the man I was going to marry, was actually in love with my mother and had fathered my brother. I couldn't even look at him. The words just spilled out of me. I showed him the photos, the messages, everything. He just broke down sobbing and trying to explain.
Oh, wow. Heavy stuff. Did he at least try to deny it?
Nope. Straight up confessed. He admitted everything. He said that he and my mom had fallen in love a few years ago and that he'd been there for her during her pregnancy when my stepfather wasn't around. He claimed that he always saw my brother as his own son and that he never meant to hurt me.
So playing the good guy card, huh? Like, he was just trying to help.
Right. There's a comment here that says, classic manipulator, trying to shift the blame and make himself look like the good guy.
Totally. I mean, come on, you're engaged to her and having a kid with her mom. There's no excuse for that.
And she sees right through it. She writes, how do you justify betraying the woman you're supposed to marry and lying to her for years? I was furious, heartbroken. I didn't even know what to say.
I can't even imagine that feeling of betrayal from the two people closest to you.
Yeah, she's completely lost. After that confrontation, I was completely lost. I didn't know who to turn to or what to do. My whole world had been turned upside down. The man I loved, the man I was going to spend my life with, had betrayed me in the worst possible way. And to make matters worse, my own mother was involved.
It's like, where do you even go from there?
Right. It's a double whammy. Not only the relationship, but her family, too.
There's a comment here that says, this is the kind of betrayal that leaves scars on your soul.
Oof, yeah. That's deep. And so true.
So what did she do? Who did she turn to for help?
Well, she does what a lot of us do these days. I knew I couldn't keep this bottled up inside. So I did what any rational person in my situation would do. I turned to Reddit.
Of course. The internet's therapist.
I received thousands of comments from people offering support, advice, and even their own personal stories of betrayal.
That's the thing about the internet, right? Even in your darkest moments, you can find people who understand.
For sure. So she's getting all this advice, but it's still her decision, you know?
All right, what to do next?
Yeah. Many people encouraged me to cut all ties with both of them and focus on healing. But it's not that simple. This is my mother we're talking about. And despite everything that's happened, a part of me still wanted to understand why she would do this.
Oh, I get that. It's your mom. You want to believe there's a reason.
I decided to confront my mother. I needed to hear her side of the story. I needed to understand how she could have betrayed me in such a profound way.
That takes guts to face her after all that.
The conversation was tense, to say the least. She admitted to the affair and said that she had fallen deeply in love with my ex-fiancé. She tried to justify her actions by saying that she had been unhappy in her marriage and that my ex-fiancé had filled a void in her life. But no matter what excuses she gave, it didn't change the fact that she had broken my trust and shattered our family.
Classic blame shifting.
It's never that simple, is it? She begged me to forgive her, but I just couldn't. I told her that I needed time to process everything that had happened and that I couldn't have her in my life right now.
Setting boundaries, good for her.
But then comes the hard part. Telling her little brother. Imagine explaining that to a 3-year-old.
Oh, man. Heartbreaking.
I didn't know how to explain to a 3-year-old what had really happened. I ended up telling him that my ex-fiancé had made some bad choices and that he wouldn't be seeing him anymore. I spared him the details, obviously, but I knew I would have to have a more difficult conversation with him when he was older.
Tough, but probably the best way to handle it at that age.
And amidst all this, she's got to rebuild her life. The next few weeks were a blur. I moved out of the apartment I shared with my ex-fiancé and into my cousin's spare room. I cut off all contact with both my ex and my mother and tried to focus on picking up the pieces of my shattered life.
Starting over. That's going to be tough, but also maybe liberating in a way.
Right, fresh start. And her little brother is there with her through it all. But even in the midst of all the pain and chaos, there was one bright spot. My brother. My sweet, innocent little brother. He was my rock, my reason to keep going. He didn't understand the complexities of what had happened, but he knew I was hurting, and he was there for me in his own way. He would cuddle up to me at night and tell me he loved me. And in those moments, I felt a glimmer of hope. A reminder that even in the darkest of times, love can still shine through.
Ah, that's sweet. The little things, right?
And then get this. The ex-fiancé has the nerve to reach out, wanting to work things out.
No way. Is he serious?
Dead serious. Said he still loved her and all that. But she shut it down immediately.
As she should.
A few months later, I got an incredible job offer, a chance to move to Spain for a fresh start. It was like the universe was handing me an escape route. I packed my bags, grabbed my brother, and said goodbye to the wreckage of my past.
Spain. That's amazing. New country, new life.
Let's talk about a clean break, huh? So last time, things were getting pretty intense. Remember all that talk about blasting the situation on social media?
Oh, yeah. She was thinking about going public with the whole thing. That's a bold move.
It is. And it sounds like she decided to go for it. Remember how I mentioned turning to Reddit for advice? Well, a lot of commenters suggested blasting the situation on social media, like in our family's Facebook group.
Whoa, really? So people were actually encouraging her to air all that dirty laundry?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. She's been lied to, betrayed by the two people closest to her, it's got to be tempting to want to expose them, Let everyone know what they did.
I guess I can see that. It's like taking back control, right?
Exactly. And she felt that way too. I wrestled with that decision for a while. But in the end, the anger and betrayal were just eating me alive. I needed to get it out there. I felt like I needed to expose the truth to show everyone what my ex and my mother had done.
So she just, like, went for it, no holding back.
Full send. She posted everything in the family's Facebook group. Screenshots, messages, the whole story.
Oh, man. I bet that caused some drama.
You think? It was total explosion. It was like watching my family implode in real time. Arguments erupted, sides were taken, and the whole thing got incredibly messy.
Yeah, I can imagine. Family can be so complicated. Everyone has their own loyalties and opinions.
And some people just straight up didn't believe her. They accused her of lying, trying to make her mom look bad.
That's gotta be so hurtful. And on top of everything else, to have your own family doubt you?
It was. And honestly, I think that was the hardest part for her. Sometimes the truth hurts more than the lie, someone commented on her post.
Yeah, that's deep.
Because even though she got the truth out there, it came at a cost. It really fractured her family. I ended up cutting off contact with most of the family members who sided against me. It hurt, but I couldn't deal with their judgment and disbelief on top of everything else.
Tough choice. But sometimes you have to protect yourself. Surround yourself with people who support you.
Yeah. And thankfully, she had her cousin and her little brother. They were her rocks through all this.
So what about the ex-fiancé? Did he try to get back in touch?
Oh, you know he did. Had the audacity to reach out, wanting to work things out. Claimed he still loved her and would do anything to earn back her trust.
Seriously. After everything, some people have no shame.
Right. But she wasn't having it. Shut him down immediately.
Good for her. Sometimes walking away is the best revenge.
And she took it a step further. A few months later, I got an incredible job offer and a chance to move to Spain for a fresh start. It was like the universe was handing me an escape route. I packed my bags, grabbed my brother, and said goodbye to the wreckage of my past.
Wow. Spain. Talk about a new beginning.
Spain was amazing. It was a chance to reinvent myself, to heal, and to rediscover who I was outside of all the drama. In my last update on Reddit, I shared that I was still processing everything that had happened, but I was feeling stronger, more independent, and more hopeful than ever before. I wasn't ready for a new relationship, but I was open to the possibilities that the future held.
What an incredible story. It's like a roller coaster of emotions. Betrayal, heartbreak, but ultimately hope and a fresh start.
Yeah, it just goes to show, even after going through something so awful, you can still find a way to heal and move on. Make a new life for yourself.
Definitely. It's inspiring, like no matter what life throws at you, there's always a chance to pick yourself up and start again.
It really is. So there you have it, folks. A wild ride through the world of Reddit relationships and family drama. We've seen betrayal, lies, and some seriously questionable choices. But in the end, our Reddit poster found her strength, created a new life, and came out on top. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It's been real.
For real. Until next time.